Hello, hello, hello. I'm Erica Lynn, better known as Erica Lynn Speaks.
If I can think about it for a second, learn to live life for the better. I had hard times, got a life coach for depression, got a life coach for depression. Now it's all mine, living days full of hard times. Ekalin, work on your mind, let's get on your grind. Working on the feelings inside, Ekalin got me on the rise.
Ekalin speaks, so the Ekalin speaks, so the Ekalin speaks, yeah, yeah. Ekalin speaks, so the Ekalin speaks, so the Ekalin speaks, yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, alright. Looking up and I fell on hard times. Hard times, they changed my mind. Got my head up, looking to the sky. Miss Lynn, she changed my life. Looking up and I fell on hard times. With her unique design. Got my head up, looking to the sky.
Ekalin speaks, so the Ekalin speaks, so the Ekalin speaks, yeah, yeah. Ekalin speaks, so the Ekalin.
Hello, hello, hello. This is your girl, Erica Lynn, and welcome back to another wonderful episode of Erica Lynn Speaks podcast. Y'all know we like to play big or go home. I say it every week. It is time for you to play big on who? On you. If you ain't ready to play big on you, who else gonna do it for you? You know, all of the month of January, I have been focusing on gratitude. Gratitude on so many levels. Like 2 weeks ago, we focused on healing and finding gratitude through healing. Like, how can you be grateful for something when you're going through pain, when you're going through the loss of loved ones, when you just feel like you're suffering? How can you find gratitude through that? Then last week we had Monica Morgan on here and we talked about finding gratitude through the lens. I mean, Monica shared with us some stories of some of the most amazing pictures that she's taken, all the places that she traveled around the world, and how could she find gratitude through taking some of those photos that she took. I mean, I even asked Monica, like, wow, how can you even focus on the lens when the person that's behind the lens is suffering and hurting? Like, how could you not put the camera down and help them? Well, we discovered that the gratitude is the ability to take the photo, right? Because that photo speaks 1,000 words. That photo, those photos that she's taken and shared with us, it helped a lot of people all over the world. And she talked about how some of her photos was like shared all over the place, photos that you and I have seen when we have gone through 9/11 and other things like that. Some of those photos came from Monica Morgan. So I just want to say that I am grateful and I am thankful to be able to have gratitude through the midst of all the things that we have experienced and suffered over the last couple of years. I am grateful to be here. I am grateful to be able to continue to bring this podcast to you. And so before we get started, I want you to make sure that you share this podcast with everybody in your timeline. You can text them, say, hey, Erica Lynn Speaks is on. We're on Facebook and we're on YouTube. And so share, say, hey, come on. And feel free to join in and participate, because I love when people participate, right? That makes the show even better, because your voice, it's just not my voice that's being heard. We get an opportunity to hear your voice as well. So without further ado, you guys, I always bring on some heavy hitters, right? Because I had to start out 2022 like bam, bam. And when you walked away from this podcast, you walked away with some knowledge that will forever change your life. So this week, I have another wonderful, amazing guest that's going to join us on stage today. Mr. Rodney Burris, he is one of the nation's top leaders in unlocking your potential. Human potential. Like, so many of us have potential that's just inside of us. We don't know what to do with it. We don't know how to unlock it. We don't even know half of the things that's inside of us. Les Brown always used to say the greatness is inside of you. So I want you guys to put your hands together and join my next guest, Rodney Burris. Hello, Rodney.
Hello, Erica Lynn Speaks. I am here. I'm with you. We made it. I made it. This is crazy.
Yes. Yes, you did. I'm so glad that you came on the podcast today. I've been anticipating your visit to our show because, first of all, I like to break it up. I don't want everybody to think that I just have all women on the show. I like to have a variety because expertise comes from both men and women. And so today we're going to hear from you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm glad to be here. Erica, I know some people that know you. Every time your name has come up, it has been positive. Talks about the impact you have. Talking about how Erica, in some circles, you're known as somebody that really got it together. I know you're not perfect. I'm not saying that I'm putting you on a pedestal. I'm saying that you come highly recommended. And so for me, this is like a goal. This is like a goal to be able to sit in a space with you. So I'm really happy to be here. I'm honored to share the space.
Well, that's awesome. That's good to know that I'm being talked about, right?
In good ways, right? In these streets. That's right.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so one of the things that I like to do on a podcast, when we get to a certain portion, I always allow the guests to ask questions, and so we can do like a Q&A, and I hope that that's okay with you.
Absolutely, absolutely. So me asking you, so I get to interview you, or you going to interview me? Like how we going to do?
No, I'm going to interview you. However, the guests, because you can see the comments on the side and I display them. And so I do allow the audience that's watching to be interactive with the podcast because it might be a gem or a jewel that you dropped and they want to go deeper into the things that you have to share with our audience today.
I like that.
Okay. So I just kind of want to start out and I want you to share with the audience. Tell us a little bit about the man, Rodney Burris.
Rodney C. Burris. So listen, we got to share. Listen, we have a shared content. I'm gonna tell you where I got that from. So you guys may not know this, but Erica and I know a young lady by the name of Pam Perry, and Pam Perry is a mogul. She is a media just dynamo. She knows everybody, and she really, really helps with like branding and strategic marketing and stuff like that. I feel like I got something floating on my face. I got a spider web of hair on my face, Erica.
No.
Okay. All right. Just don't let me look crazy out here. So anyway, Erica, Pam, one day I submitted something working with Pam and she called me and fussed me out. And do you want to know what the whole fuss was about? The whole fuss was my website says Rodney C. Burris. My Instagram says Rodney C. Burris. My everything says Rodney C. Burris. But the thing that I submitted to this major publication didn't have the C. She said, Rodney C. Burris is a brand. And don't you ever, working with me, go out here and misrepresent the brand that we're trying to build. So because of that, I got to throw that C in there. I love my little C. My mama gave me that C. I have an aunt named Queen. If it wasn't for her, I would be a junior. I would be Rodney Burris Jr. But because I have that C, that Christopher, it kind of gives me my little space in this world. So I love my C, Erica. I love my little C.
I like your C too.
Thank you so much. Thank you for my little C.
Well, listen, because C's are special because when everybody say, Erica, is it with the C or a K? And I get upset. I go with the C. So
right. Because that C, yeah, it could be. I've seen Erica spell some crazy ways. All right, so a little bit about me. I could do the simple stuff. Dad of 5. I got my oldest kids are twins. They're 17 now, right? Aaliyah and Anthony. About to get up out of there, right? Get them out of there. And then all the way Micah and Jada and Judah. I could talk about all that kind of stuff. And I love repping Baltimore. I am Be More in my heart, Be More in my soul. That's where I was born. That's where I live.
Where's your Baltimore accent?
You want to know something crazy? So everywhere I go, my entire life, people have always asked me where I'm from. I spent a portion of my childhood in Florida. Whether I was in Florida, whether I was in Baltimore, whether I traveled, because I traveled a lot for work. Where you from? You from the islands? You from New York? You from Boston? You from down south? Even when I'm in Baltimore, where you from? Here. I'm from here. I live around way. What you talking about? So I don't know. Maybe I need to work on my elemental P's a little bit so I can.
Well, I learned how to say Baltimore from watching one of the hip hop Atlanta show.
Who on there? Who that from Baltimore?
What's her young MA or young Ma? What's her name? Deja Young MA. I think her name. Yeah, Young and
She
Maze.
she taught everybody how to say it. Yeah, you gotta. That's how you know. Like I know how to say Baltimore, right? I know how to just put all the little letters and punctuations in there. But for real, when you from Baltimore, or like we say B more, and then if you really, really know, we say Charm City, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we can tell the frauds when they say they from B Town. Some cat said that he was from B Town. Like,
Yeah.
no, you're not. There's no such thing, son.
So Rodney,
Yeah.
I noticed I had an opportunity to peruse through your website. You have an exceptional website, by the way, and your brand is very clear as to who you are and what you do. And so I find it fascinating because your reviews, people had a lot of good things to say about you in the speeches and some of the stages that you have taken. But do you have a story or an example of perhaps one speech that you had given that perhaps either changed your life or made an impact on you knowing and saying that this is what I'm going to do? I'm here to stay.
So I was in Delaware. I was at a high school, and we were in the cafeteria. Right, so it's one of those schools that they use the cafeteria for everything, right? Move the tables and it's the gym and everything else. So I was doing a presentation. It was 11th graders, right? So at the end of it, I was working with this company. This wasn't my content. I was working with this company, and at the end of it, students come up. Oh, I'm glad. Sometimes they just happy to be out of class, right? They happy to not be in school at the time, whatever. Erica, there was a young Hispanic Latina young lady, and she waited till everybody left, right? I mean, it was people still around, but she waited till the line died down. She was the last one, and she came to me, and her eyes were kind of glassy, right? And she said, I didn't think this was for me, but after hearing you, now I think I can. Now, to give you some context, Erica, she was speaking in her best English, and it was very broken. Like she was pulling words, thinking like, and so that wasn't just like a clean statement that she just rolled off. It was like pulling here. So I know it was so much embedded in that little sentence, right? That wasn't just her saying, I didn't think this was for me. Now I know. She fought for those words in her eyes, and she started crying. I don't know if she meant if school was for her. I don't know if she meant life after graduation was for her. I don't know if she meant being in America was for her. I don't know what she meant, Erica. But I know that she did her best to tell me that whatever it was that she thought she felt or experienced during our time gave her the consolation that she needed to know that it was. That right there, that Erica changed my experience of what I do, because I like what I do, right? It's fun for me. It's life-giving for me. But it was life-giving for me and kind of like energetic, kind of like, here we go, say something fun and cool and entertain. And although I was dropping knowledge, I didn't realize the impact, right? I had no idea of how transformational it could be.
Yes.
She was the first one that gave me a mirror and was like, I want you to see who you really are, Rod. Like you can really, really be. She showed me myself that day. And it was from that moment on, and this was years ago. This was like mid 2000s. This is like 06, maybe something like that, that I moved differently in this world about what I do. So I have stories like that. I have another one, Erica, if I can, real quick.
Yes.
It was a older woman. She looked a little bit like you don't laugh at me. So remember the Huxtables, right? Mm-hmm. So it wasn't Claire, but it was Claire's mom. Okay. Mm-hmm. So all right. So very kind of elegant older lady, kind of silver white hair, whatever. So she was in my workshop. I was doing a team training for this corporation in DC, and I had them split off in pairs. And the guy that she was working with, he looked like a sitcom character too, but he just looked like the typical, like all of the like. I want to say this so PC, but this is what he looked like, right? hat to the side, big baggy clothes. But he was a little precious little white boy, right? This little precious little white boy. But he looked like the character of, but I grew up like that's he just, but that was him, right? So they was paired up. And I had them do this exercise called Who Are You? And basically it's a series of questions where just between you two, right? They ask you over and over again, who are you? Who are you? Well, who are you? And you don't get to stall, you don't get to repeat. So if you already say, oh, I'm a such and such homeowner, great. Now who are you? Oh, yeah, superficial, this title, that. Who are you? And I don't get to ask, tell me more. That's not my line, right? That's not my question. My question is just simply, who are you? Sometimes that thing can get deep and intimate. But this time, Erica, was the first time she broke down. So I was walking the room and I'm going around, I'm checking on people. I'm like, no stalling. All your answers got to be honest. You can filter with honest thing you say, right? Don't tell us you're just crazy. But anything that you allow to come out got to be honest, right? So I'm just going around and interacting a little bit. And she's broke down. She's sobbing, like can't get it together. And she was like, I just didn't know we had so much in common.
Yeah.
He asked, he was like, can I leave? He was like, please, can I leave? Can I go smoke a cigarette? He left for a little bit. Things like that, right? Shows me, Erica, that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do in this world. It's a good chance they would have tapped into that part of themselves somewhere, right? They didn't need me, but it happened with me, right? It happened through me. And that's why I do what I do.
Yeah, that's amazing because you never know how or who you're going to impact. So once you, even before you step into this realm, even in a regular everyday life, going to the grocery store or walking in the store, saying hello, I like to compliment people. Oh, you're beautiful. I tell a woman she's beautiful in a minute. I like to compliment men as well. And you just never know how that makes someone's day, how that impact them. So now take it a step further. Now we are speaker. And I remember a friend of mine had invited me. This is when I first decided to do this, right? So I was getting my toe wet. I didn't have any clue on really how to frame a speech. I just knew I was just going to get up there and help. And so I went to her house and I actually spoke in her backyard at the people that was there. And even though my speech was not the best, because it was a lot of I, right? But you learn later on that you have to more so talk about the audience and other people. But it was a lot of I. But then I also noticed there was one woman that her eyes was glued on me. No matter what I said, no matter what other people said, oh, we don't like her, whatever, she was glued on me. And so I knew that even though my speech was not going the way that it was supposed to, that I could, right in my mind, I could not stop because I had to make sure that I made an impact on that one person that was there. So you never know whose life you're going to change. You never know what you're going to say that's going to get someone up that has fallen and is they don't know how to get started again. Right. And so I brought that up because I had an opportunity, like you wrote these books.
Yeah.
Fallen. First of all, tell everybody about like the name of your book.
All right. Gotcha. So I have a book and it's called Get Off the Cycle and Run. Right. So this is how that title came up. Well, if you guys ever, it's on Google and Amazon and my website, it's all over the place. Right. We got #1, Erica. We hit #1 Amazon bestseller. So the title of the book, if you guys look on the front cover of the book, there is a person that's running with their hands up, like victory, right? And behind them is this bike that's just kind of tossed to the side. And in front of them is like the end of a race, right? Like a finish line. And it's like the sun and it's running towards new opportunity and all this other kind of stuff. And you would think they could do better just stand on a bike, right? Like you got the bike, just keep going through. But if we think about bikes, like we think about the repetitive motion of any cycle in our life, I keep dating the same people. I find myself doing the same kind of work. I'm tired of doing this work. I keep getting broke over and over and over again. Every time I go to these people's house or over here or over there, everybody treats me the same kind of way, and I'm sick of it. What's easiest for us to do, Erica, is look at the thems of those situations and not connect the fact that I'm standing in the middle like the spoke in the wheel, right? And so all of these connections are kind of connected to me, but I'm connected to them. Two-way, right? Connected to me, yes, but I'm connected to them. And there's something about me, and that's the part that's uncomfortable, right? This is the thing when I do corporate trainings and managers and supervisors, I'm talking to them. They're like, our people ain't performing, and we just need them to level up. Every single relationship is a mirror, every single one. One of the reasons why I'm really honored to be here with you, Erica, is because this to me reflects a little bit of where I might be in this world in life right now, right? Like, so every relationship is a mirror. And so my teams, my members, my staff, my employees, my children, whoever it is, their progress, their products, their results, their interactions, their behaviors are reflective of the type of leader that I am. Right? My relationships are reflective of the type of me that I am. And so in real life, in figurative life, this makes a lot of sense, right? If I had a mirror, let me see where my hand's at because I feel like I'm not on the screen. So if I had a mirror and I'm looking at this mirror and I want to change something about that face I see on this mirror, me drawing or painting or yelling or fussing at this mirror don't make no sense to change the reflection. Right? It don't make no sense. This is what we do. I want you to treat me better. So instead of me changing so that you reflect to me a different, better me improving, you got to stop. You need to know my boundaries. You need to, and it makes sense, right? But the reason why is start stops. Like it has limiting, it's something called the law of diminishing returns, which means it looks like it's going well, but then it kind of falls off. And it looks like it's going well again, and it falls off. That's the law of diminishing returns because our efforts are external instead of internal. And so the whole idea about the bike and getting off the cycle is one, recognizing I have agency. I have an impact in my life patterns. In the way that my grandma talked to me, in the way that my boyfriend talked to me, or the way that my whoever it is, right? In this world, however they talk and deal with me reflects the me, right? And I said boyfriend, that made me feel so kind of funny, but I'm just trying to put myself in everybody's shoes, right? I'm trying to put myself in everybody's shoes because like you were saying, I could go in there and say a whole bunch of I, me, but the thing that makes us good, Erica, at what we do, right, is the fact that regardless of the audience, they can see themselves in us. And so everybody likes one person, for real. Yeah. That's them, right? That's their self. Everybody likes them. So if you talk like I talk, dress like I dress, look how I look, we good to go. If I think you look crazy, sound crazy, right? Where you from, how you do, it creates a disconnect. Yeah. So that's what the book is about. The book is about connecting life patterns to a bicycle, right? Mm-hmm. And it's this whole idea about a bicycle. And then once we realize that we don't want to repeat those patterns, doing the work to kind of let that bike go and finish our journey. Sometimes that's falling off the bike, which is hard, scrape your knees. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's jumping off the bike, which my mama did. I'll explain that in a little bit. But I got a lot of respect for what she did because she could have really, really hurt herself how she did that. But yeah, I love that book. I talk about it because it's not mine. Like, yeah, it's mine, but it felt like a download.
Right. Sometimes God implants things in us.
Yes.
And we are the ones that outpour it into
yes, Erica.
And you don't realize how much of a gold mine that you have until you later on down the line and you look back and you go, oh my God, I created that.
Right.
That came from me. And it is total amazement because you get to see how people respond to it, how it sits in someone else's life, how it affects their everyday life,
Right.
how it's like, wow, I can see myself in that story. And so when he gives you things like that, it's selfish to keep it inside. The right thing to do is to do what you did and download it into the book so that other people can share it. But I love the metaphor of riding the bike, because riding the bike represents so many things. Riding the bike represents you're going on your journey.
Right.
And guess what? You might even fall off the bike,
Right.
but then you're going to get back up and get on the bike and try it again. And that's just the way life is. You can start on your path or on your journey to greatness, and then you're going to have a lot of falls on your way.
Right.
But what's most important is not that you stay down, is that you get up and you get back on that bike and you start pedaling again, because you never know who you're going to run into, or you never know who's watching you.
Yes.
You will be surprised how many people, such as yourself, tell me, I've been watching you,
Right.
Erica Lynn,
I'm a prime example.
and I'm like, oh my God, because I didn't realize as many people watch me as they do. I get emails or people going to my website sending me messages, and I've been following you. And so that let me know that everything that I do or the way that I move, people are watching me. Now, am I perfect? No.
It's not, right.
And I share my imperfections because I want them to know that you don't have to be perfect in this journey.
No.
However, you do have to go through the journey. I don't care how long it takes you, but you still have to go through that journey. And so I commend you for going through your journey and writing the book and getting on stage and speaking and changing lives such as that you have been doing every day.
I love it, Erica. It feels like I tap into a battery. Like I feel like when I do this work, one of my favorite quotes that I learned from an older mentor that I had years ago, he said, if what you do for a living doesn't give you life, then what are you doing?
Wow. Right.
And I look at my dad, right? So my dad, we've had on again, off again, right? On again, off again relationship my whole life, right? One of the things that my dad is amazing at, Erica, is doing the work of construction, home building. Wiring, painting, carpentry, sheetrock, drywall, concrete, roofing, plumbing. He gets in this zen space, right? He gets in it because he can be a rough dude. He can be a hothead, but when he's doing his work, there's a calmness in the room, in the space. I've seen him do complete stuff. So me and him actually had a company for a little while, right? Through all of the rocky up and down, that's like a relationship. Like all the troubles we had, we got 2-3 kids, right? Like how in the world did that happen? So me and him was like that. All the up and down, we still had a company. We produced this little thing. Well, we would have 2 or 3 guys, Erica, in one room, and him in another room by himself. And at the end of the day, he's completed stuff in his room that the 2-3 guys are still working on for their project, right? He's good at it. So it doesn't matter if it's teaching kids. It doesn't matter if it's driving a truck. It doesn't matter if it's coding or programming. It doesn't matter if it's speaking or talking. You could be a server. It doesn't matter what it is. I mean, a server like a waiter, right? If what you are doing affords you that sense of like, that's where you're supposed to be.
Yeah. And they ask you how do you know? Is this my calling, or is this where I'm supposed to be? So it's more than just a feeling.
It's more than just a feeling.
It's a feeling, plus it seemed like everything begins to line up.
Yes.
So at first, now I ain't gonna lie, at first it's rough. And if I'm gonna cuss, it's rough as hell.
Right.
And it's not easy.
Right.
You're going to experience a lot of challenges, But if you are willing to continue to get back on the bike and ride through the challenges, then is where you will experience that greatness. Then is where you will experience that feeling of, this is where I'm supposed to be.
Yes.
Now, the reason why you have the challenges or falling off the bike is because you need experiences.
That's right. You got
right. You need to know what not to do again.
Right.
You need to know what to do again.
Right.
Or you need to know, I don't need that association.
Boom.
I need to be in this circle. So riding that bike and falling off is not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing.
Right. And then when you look back later on in life and you get to talk to your grandchildren or your kids,
right.
you get to share with them those experiences so that they can continue to move forward. And then they can know, granddad wasn't perfect. Granddad went through this. Granddad said that he fell off the bike. If he could fall off the bike and get back on, so can I. Yes.
One of the things that's at the end of my book, right? So the first part of my book is about connecting the cycles that are not good, right? And I connected to I parallel real bikes, big wheels, motorcycles, regular bikes, 10 speeds, you know, and how those, like a motorcycle, for example, it's loud, it's fast, it's shiny, you know, got the colors and all that kind of stuff. And it epitomizes the fast life, right? Just living and going and living and going. And you don't pay attention. If you want something like that, you could wreck a lot of your life, others, damage, property, etc. That's the first part of the book. The second half of the book talks about the positive cycles, the positive bikes in our life that we need to pick back up, that we don't even need to get off. Not if you fall off, right? Because falling off is a part of your story, your struggle, etc. But just choosing is to let it go. Stay on your bike if you're making progress, and it's just hard. It's just hard. I got a friend of mine, Erica. He told me this. This is years ago. We were running track, right? Now this cat went on NCAA. He got 2 big rings, NCAA hurdling champion, 2 of them, right? When he was in college. We out running, training, practicing. And one day I hit him up and I was like, yeah, man, I can't go out. I can't go today. I can't go run today. He's like, what's wrong? I'm hurt, man. Can't run. You know, we've been running real hard past several weeks. I'm feeling it. I'm hurt. Can't go out there. He was like, are you injured or are you sore? I was like, what are you talking about? I just told you I was hurt. He was like, are you injured or are you sore? And I was like, bro, it's the same thing, right? I'm hurt. He said, it's not the same thing. He said, if you injured, you need to get rest. You need to wrap it. You need attention, because if you stay on that, you're going to damage yourself and then you're going to be no good for a long time. He was like, but if you sore, that just means your workout is working.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's fun. I'm laughing because one of the trainers at the gym just said that to me about 4 days ago. And I was on this machine and my trainer is increasing the weights. Like she's going after strength now, right?
Okay,
like you done played around long enough, let's strengthen it. So one of the other trainers, because everybody is like all involved in this weight loss journey. So it's beyond me. I got accountability partners everywhere. So anyway, she came up to me and she was like, how's it going? I was like, I'm hurting. I was like, I'm hurting. I just can't. It hurt right here. I'm hurting. And she said, are you hurting or are you sore? I said, I'm hurt. She said, now again, are you hurting or are you sore? And she explained to me the difference. And so I said, okay.
So you just had that conversation?
Yes, like 4 days ago.
And then I come right around and say the same thing.
Yes.
Okay, so let me speak to our people real quick, right? Because Erica said a little bit ago, she was like, it's more than just a feeling, right? She said, when stuff starts to line up, okay, there's 3 things to let you know that you're operating in the space that you need to be in, okay? One of them is you love it, right? You have a passion for it, right? You enjoy it. That's one, the feeling of it. But like Erica said, it's not just a feeling. There's 2 other things, right? The second thing is that you're actually good at it, right? So if you want to sing, because you love singing, but every time you open your mouth, you sound like don't nobody ever need to hear that but you by yourself, right? If that's the case, then maybe being a vocalist, baby girl, you know what I mean? Like maybe that's not your dig right there, right? But if you love it and you feel good when you're doing it and you're good at it, it's a strength for you. When those two things meet, we didn't even got to the third thing yet. When those two things meet, where they cross, where they intersect, at that point, you've accessed the flow, right? And so the ideas about it come more naturally. You could be tired and be like, you know what we can do? All we got to do, because it's a different space, right? What I love to do, what I'm good at doing. And then the third thing, what are the opportunities, the trends? What's going on in the marketplace? What's the niches to be filled? And when you do that, so for example, one of my sisters, I got two little sisters. They ain't little no more, Erica. They old and annoying right now. But I got two little sisters, right? And one of them is one of the head chefs at an Olive Garden. And so she used to look at cooking shows when we was little, black and white TV, PBS shows. I'm like, why are you a grandma and you 7 years old? Like, why are you looking at this old stuff? Now look at what she does. But she could take that same desire, go to culinary school, done all the same things that she did. But one of the industries growing, and I'm sharing this with us all, right? Everybody that's listening to Erica's show, one of the major industries in our country that's growing is the healthcare industry. And so, yeah, if you want to be a phlebotomist, EKG, tech, nurse, doctor, all that, yeah, it's a lot of opportunities. But what if you don't? What are you trying to take nobody's blood? What are you trying to do any of that stuff? You could be my sister and get your culinary degree and work in the kitchen dietary department of a hospital. When the last time you seen a hospital closed? Right? And so now you're doing what you love in an industry that's stable. See, this is strategic. And Erica, these are like ways of looking at the world that I wasn't exposed to growing up that I kind of learned later. And so I started doing this, like getting it, and now I share it. And now I share it. This is how you know. It's not just the feeling, but the feeling counts.
Yeah.
And then what are you good at doing? And then what's going on in the world where you can plug in still being you? Yeah. And that's how success is made. Yeah. I do this all day.
And you know, and I want to say this too. In going through your steps, sometimes you might be the one that set the trend. You might be that first one that everybody is saying, no, nobody is going to be interested in that idea. That's stupid. That's dumb. And then you might even begin to think, well, dang, is my idea stupid? But if you are the one that set the trend, that you are ready to go beyond the naysayers, to go beyond the people that has the negative thoughts and create it. You know, open that door, walk through that door, create that opportunity, because opportunities might not always come to you.
Right.
You got to create that opportunity. So if people don't know that they need your service, create it and show them that they need your service. Boom. Show them how they can utilize what you do. Don't keep it. As I said to him earlier, don't be selfish and keep it all to yourself, because just think about all the things that we use today, all of the technology, driving cars, the little air fresheners that go in the car, just everything that we use, somebody invented it.
Right.
And if they had let somebody say, a curling iron, that's stupid.
That don't make no sense.
Then our hair will be looking real crazy right now if somebody did create the curling iron.
Right.
If somebody didn't create cameras, then how are you guys going to be able to see, especially now in this, because everything is virtual.
Everything.
Right. And so cameras that we know were expensive, the big and bulky ones. If somebody had an idea to be able to put something this small to show the things that you see every week on Erica Land Speaks podcast and all over the world to other places. So just because somebody tell you no, I'm saying to you, create it. Create that trend. Create that value. Create that opportunity.
You know, you made me think of it's people, Erica, that are rich. Mm-hmm. Families that are rich because somebody, mama, uncle up there invented Kool-Aid packs. Kool-Aid, Erica. Yeah, imagine before they launched that, they sitting in the dining room like, y'all, I'm working on it because I got this idea. If we take this powder, no, it's not sweet. But if we, that don't sound smart. Ain't nobody gonna buy that. But now look. And so there are people that love what you do naturally. And what I don't want people, sometimes I have this conversation, and what I get feedback on is, well, I don't know how to make something like Kool-Aid. We're not supposed to. They already got cameras. Correct. That's not where you're not supposed to do that. That part is done. We are supposed to, it's called cumulative building, right? We're supposed to kind of stand on the shoulders of giants. And so now, because we got cameras and Kool-Aid and virtual living and etc., and now that COVID is a part of our life and all of this stuff, now you're still you, and there's still value. But if I don't date myself, and I mean like go on dates, and no, I don't mean just like go out and wine and dine. But if I don't know what I like, if I don't know what makes me happy, because I spend my life and my time making everybody else happy, right? And if I can quote, this little part right here that a lot of folks may or may not know, I'm supposed to love everybody like I love myself. Beautiful, right? The focus that a lot of people was given for that kind of phrase was love everybody. But the emphasis is on as much as you do for yourself. So if you don't do it for yourself, you don't know you. You don't know what makes you laugh by yourself, what gives you life. If I ask you right now, you want to go get something to eat? And you say, yeah, let's go get that. And then I say, what you want to eat? And America,
What's the first thing? The first thing most people say is,
what?
I don't know. I don't know. But when you know yourself and you know who you are and you know what you love, then you know what you want. So you don't have to guess. But we all go through it. So it's not something to beat yourself up about, because I experienced it too. Because when you get with a real person, in my case, when you get with a real man and he's going to wine you and dine you, the date doesn't always have to be on him, meaning the ideas and the places to go doesn't always have to be on him, because then if that's the case, he's just dating himself. Right. But if you want him to date you, you got to be able to tell him what you like and what you want. So I went through that period when I didn't know who I was or what I liked or what I didn't like. And I was that person like, I don't know. And it's so funny, Rodney, because when I moved by myself, and which now we're going on 2 months, right? I was like, I hate living by myself. There's nobody here. But you know what? Then I started falling in love with Erica Lynn. Like, Erica, I like jazz. I like to take bubble baths. It's just certain things that I love to do. And when you spend your time focusing on everything else, everybody else, everybody but you, then you don't know who you are and what you love to do. And so sometimes taking some time alone or taking that sabbatical that most people take, because I take them, I realized since I started, doing the podcast and business, there are certain times a year that I would just go dark. My brain would just shut down. And I was like, oh my God, people going to think I disappeared. So this year, when my team and I put the plan together, I said, let's already pre-schedule breaks in the podcast. Let's already pre-schedule. We got enough recorded content of material that we can shoot out a recorded video while I'm on vacation, while we on vacation. If you don't know yourself, then you don't know what you need. But guess how I learned what I need? I fell off the bike for 3 years until I discovered what I wanted, what I needed. So now I'm on that bike riding.
Right. You good to go. Right. And it's not that we ain't going to fall off again, but literally taking those lessons in that life. Somebody taught me this, Erica, about, you said, I like bubble baths and I like jazz. Somebody taught me this. See, well, shout out to Deborah. So they taught me the connection between happiness and enjoyment. So I'm going to share it. Freely I got, freely I'm going to share. So happiness comes, let me start with enjoyment. Enjoy, if we literally think about the word, it's an internal feel good, right? I enjoy this thing. I enjoy this macaroni and cheese, right? I enjoy this movie. I enjoy this bubble bath, whatever it is, right? Happiness is when I give something that I enjoy to somebody else, right? And then they enjoy it. So they internalize that, oh, this is good, Mac. This cheesecake is banging. I love that restaurant. You right. That movie I binged the whole series. When me and you start connecting on the things that we both enjoy, it's like a synergy that arcs between it, like electricity between two metal posts, right? And that energy sinking in between is the happiness, right? But that doesn't come if I don't have enjoyment. So me just looking at somebody else be happy or like something, I get this kind of like, that ain't real, because it ain't sparking from nothing in me. So I got this flimsy, thin, no, it's okay. You have fun. You go ahead. You kiss on me. I'll just sit here because I'm not enjoying it. So if I don't take the time to know what I like and how I like and share that, if I don't give myself permission, Erica Lynn, to first do that and then give myself permission to share that, my happiness, let me say it in a bigger sense, my quality of life, it's always going to be a little thin. And so it always starts with self. And it's not selfish, right? Because really, Erica, I could do this all. This is why I got books. This is why
Right. So we don't want to give them all the content, right? If they want to know more, they can go to your website and purchase the book, because the content is there in the book. And if you guys have any questions for Rodney or myself, please feel free to put them in the comments section. So I do have Deja. She has a question for us. Hey, for you. Hey, Rodney, have you ever done acting? You and Erica Lynn could totally do a show together. Your personalities mesh great.
I would love to do a show with Erica Lynn. Deja, I think that's a great idea. I've always been a little bit of a class clown / getting Erica. I'm the type of dude that if you took a whole list of things about me and a whole list of things about me, you wouldn't think they was the same person. I done been to the White House. I done been homeless. I done been all over the world. I have been in the projects. I've been honors, all of that kind of stuff throughout my academic career. I've been almost expelled and suspended for fighting. Like, I have this like list. So sometimes my getting in trouble at school was because I was a funny dude. And sometimes me getting in trouble in school is because I can't teach Rodney when you take everybody's attention, because I thought what they were doing was boring. So yeah. I say all that to say I've been doing some acting in some sort of way my whole life. I did some in college. Deja, I think that's a great idea. And I do like Erica's personality. And I think that we could do a show together. And that could be a play or a series or a webisode or a movie. So help us get connected, Deja. Help us do what we got to do in these streets.
That's what's up. And because this year is the year that I decided to really, really step out of my comfort zone and do different things. And you know how we talk about our past, we learn from our past. Well, one of the things that I learned is that I take on too much, right? I put too much on my plate. And so I had an opportunity to sign up for a program, which is a wonderful program. And it's like a once in a lifetime program. Okay. And it happens twice a year, right? So they only accept so many people in the program.
Oh, wow.
I got accepted in the program, right? Got the acceptance letter yesterday and everything. But I sat on the phone and I talked to my youngest son, and I started talking to him about the pros and the cons. And I said, the reality is I'm excited to be accepted to the program, but I don't have the capacity to house the program right now. And one of the things that I did in the past, I will overcapacitate myself.
Yeah.
And so when you do that, I learned that messes with my memory, meaning that at that point, I don't have the capacity to retain any information. So when it's time for me to get on stage and speak, I can't remember my speeches. I can't remember certain things. So that is a hard lesson that I had to learn, is that, don't take on too much. So now I'm respectfully declining the program. Ooh. And when I made that decision, then all of a sudden there's an app in which you're probably on the app. I started getting booking requests today.
What app is this?
I'll tell you about it.
Okay.
I'll tell you about it when we got. So I started getting booking requests today.
Okay.
And I said that was because I made a decision.
That's right.
You know, it's almost like the laws of reciprocity, right? What you put out in the
Boom.
atmosphere is what you
Took
get
the
back.
words out of my mouth.
So I understood that what I put out in the atmosphere before was confusion, was
That's
clutter,
right.
was cloudiness, was too much going on. And what I got back was confusion and clutterness
Come
and
on.
not progressing and not booking like I wanted to. And so now that I made that a priority,
Yeah.
I made me
Yeah.
a priority.
I love that.
Then now the doors are opening and I'm going after more than just speaking engagements. I'm going after things in my personal life, but it
Yes.
leaves room for me to do so other than being a person that takes on too much.
I love that.
And so I'm saying that because I want somebody to hear me. You are taking on too much. Write down everything that you need or you want to accomplish and address them in order properly. Don't do all 12 of them at once. Take your time, because if you're doing all 12 at once, how are you retaining what you're learning? How are you going to be able to utilize that in other aspects, right? But if you take your time and go through the process, what we always say, you can't rush the process. You can't
rush
go around the process. You can't fight or beat up the process, but you can take your time and go through the process step by step, because eventually you're going to get to the finish line.
Boom.
But the reward is much greater than it would have been if you tried to rush or do anything other than the way that it was designed for you to do it.
Absolutely. I saw this dude running today. So I go jogging in the mornings, try to do my little fitness routine. By the way, looking at you right here and seeing your montage, you are doing phenomenal.
Thank you.
It's working, Elin. It is working. So I was out running today, and there's a lake in Baltimore called Montebello, right? Lake Montebello, right? Huge. It's like a couple of miles to go all the way around at one time. And the crazy thing about it's true for any lake, right? But the crazy thing about being in Lake Montebello is that if you take one or two extra laps that you really don't got the energy or the stamina to do, and you find yourself way, I'm gonna say it like we down south, way over there on the other side, you way over there somewhere, there's nothing you can do to get back to your car but put your foot in front of the other.
Yeah.
You can't cut across that water, right? Like it's not even built like, because they got a gate around it and they got a fence around it, right? So you can't even cut across the water in a boat. You literally have to do the steps. You can do them faster. You can run. You can sprint. You ain't gonna sprint no 2 miles. Ain't no such thing as sprinting 2 miles. You got to do those steps, right? And so sometimes it's exactly how you said. It's like recondition myself to be like, you know what? Wait a second. All I have to do, literally, is this step.
Put one foot in front of the other.
All I got to do. And so I'm gonna use you for an example, Erica. So a year and a half ago, I was really successful in my work, but my work, I got a lot of internal referrals, right? So managers and supervisors be like, you got to get Rodney to your spot. Principals and universities, it was internal, and I did that well through this network. So what didn't I have? I didn't have a banging website a year and a half ago, right? I didn't have a media package. I had no speaker one sheet. I didn't have a collection of my testimonials. And it was lit. So one of the reasons why I valued you when I was introduced to you, however long ago that was, is that you had a lot of the things that I was like, I want to look like this, right? Like I want to also, and it was admiration. It wasn't jealousy. It was like, wow, like this is what it could look like. Okay. And so going through the process of like, how do I get to use you, right? I'm gonna put you on the pedestal. How do I get to Erica Lynn Speaksville? Like, how do I get to there? From where I was is too much, right? It was too much. What could I do? My brother, you could get a speaker one sheet. right? What else could I do? You can, so it's things like that, guys, that sometimes we don't know how to do the whole thing. And we don't know how to pay all of the bills. And we don't know how to, but there's something that we can do today, and that might be washing the dishes. And I'm talking about real life stuff. My mind is crowded. I am stressed. And sometimes it's about all of the bills and all of the relationships and all that kind of stuff. And the thing that I can do right now is get something to eat because my blood sugar low. Right? Like, right? It's sometimes it's that simple. And if we get better and better at simplifying life, last thing I'm gonna say, because I know we getting out of here. Einstein. Favorite quote from Einstein, Erica. The genius, right? Genius, super physicist, genius guy. He said, if you can't explain it simply, you don't really understand it yet yourself. Wow. Einstein.
Yeah.
So if this guy can say that, right? And he came up with something called the theory of relativity, which is how the universe relates to itself. And he explained it with 3 letters. E equals mc squared. 3 letters in a number, right? We done seen that in cartoons. We done seen that in movies. It's the simplest. And it explains the universe and how it relates to itself in a way that other scientists have been like, actually? And so life is like that. If we can just explain it simply.
Yeah. Don't make it all complicated. You are absolutely correct, Rodney. And I like the fact that you were able to simplify it, because what happens is oftentimes people give an example, and even though people can feel the example, they can't see themselves in that example. But to be able to give basic real life everyday examples, as washing the dishes, that's the first step to cleaning. My house is a mess. For example, it's cluttered. Not my house, but it's cluttered. It's cluttered. And you like, I don't know how to get started. I don't know maybe I just got to hire somebody. Well, it's just as simple as wash the dishes today. Start with the dishes. Then maybe tomorrow clean the living room. Then spend another day doing laundry. But do one thing at a time, because it still goes back to what I was saying before. It is that process. And if you start from the beginning and take your time and go through the process, at the end, you're going to have a whole clean house. You're going to have a decluttered mind. You're going to feel a whole lot better about yourself. And then that is going to trickle over to you and how you move forward in your everyday life.
I love that. I love
it. And so if you guys had any questions, now is the time, because Rodney is going to get out of here. Because y'all know it's Wednesday. I don't like holding y'all up, but you might got to clean up, or you might need to go cook that meal for that wonderful man of yours.
Hey, or I like food. I like food.
Right? Rodney said he likes food, i.e. somebody want to cook for Rodney. Look, Rodney, I might be trying to be, is you married? I don't want to be over here being a matchmaker. Like, look, I ain't trying to get your wife if you got one to kill me. Look,
Erica, don't be getting us in trouble in these streets, Erica.
Right, I have people in my DMs like, connect me to Rodney. They'll be in my DMs, and then your wife will be in my DMs. Wait till I find you, Erica. So look, I gotta clarify. If you are married, sorry, Mrs. Burris.
Listen,
anyway,
so she's been like this this is a really great show. Look at Martha Presley. Yeah, she do this. She should shake her head like.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I'm just putting the comments up for the guests, because the podcast will go back in audio. So those listeners who are listening to audio and you can't see what I'm doing, I'm just putting the comments up from the people that's watching the show. And like Deja said, yes, the process is the key. The process is the key. And Deborah, she's been on point. She said, speak, Rodney, speak. And that's what we do. Rodney and I, we speak, but we weren't always at this point. We had to go through our process of getting here. We had to fall, we had to stutter, we had to stumble, we had to be afraid, like we had to have bubble guts to getting on that stage. Like,
Right.
did I impact somebody? But as you said, is that one person that came up to you and shared their
Changed my life.
experience of listening to you. It changed their life to let you know that you were on the right path. You were on the journey that you're supposed to be on. So, Rodney, I want you to share with the audience, how can they reach you? How can they buy your
Absolutely.
book? How can they find more of Mr. Barris?
Absolutely. So first and foremost, thank you so much, Erica. This was definitely like a dream come true. I didn't know a year. And actually, I reached out to you when I first was introduced to you. It was like, hey, Erica. I said something, and y'all, Erica gave me like the little. She, I was just like a little buzzing comment. She was like, So just to be able to be here, I know I said this 100 times, but I mean it from my heart. This is like something that I wanted to do, and it feels great to have shared this space. I think we had great vibe and energy, and if people can feel that, right, if they can kind of take that and bottle that up, then we are doing what we're supposed to do in this world. You are doing. Listen, if you've never heard this before, I'm sure you have. You are doing what you're supposed to do because you inspire people like me, right? And so if nobody else has told you that, and I'm sure they have, I want to also add my voice to theirs, that you are doing what you're supposed to do, because I felt encouraged and I saw an example and I was like, wow, it could be like this. So thank you, Erica, for being you. Reaching me is as simple as what you guys see right there. Everything. TikTok. Oh, I'm on TikTok, y'all. I'm TikToking, y'all. So pull up your TikTok phones and hit me. It's at Rodney C. Burris. Instagram. So all of my social medias are different, right? So Twitter, if you're into like nice uplifting comments, that's my Twitter. If you want to see me like having fun and running around, that's Instagram. You want to TikTok and I'm learning, right? But if you want to TikTok with me, go on TikTok, Facebook. My website is rodneycburris.com. If you want to get my book, I have a free version of the book, right? So the name of the book is Get Off the Cycle and Run. And it's full of stories and examples, but there's a smaller condensed version called Get Off the Cycle and Sprint, right? And it's shorter. It's just the bullet points. And I'll share that for free. So if you want that version of the book, you go to my website. At the bottom, it says, tell me more, connect with Rodney. If you put your email address in there, we flipping a book out to you. So that'll be my little free gift. But thank you so much, Erica, for allowing me to share the time with you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And so we got the great comments. Al said, "Good job." and hi Al, thank you for watching the show. And Deborah, we appreciate you. Thank you so much. I love all of you guys. That's wonderful. And Rodney, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. It was a pleasure. You will have to come back, or perhaps we can do something together outside of the podcast, as Deja said.
Deja had this idea. We got to do it.
Yeah. Oh, Deborah said, say it again about the book. She want to know.
Okay. So on my website, which is just my name, so it's just Rodney C. Burris, and Burris is spelled Burris, right? So if you go to my website, if you scroll to the bottom, it's a little place to like join the newsletter or connect with Rodney. I forgot what the title says. My guy Zach made the website. Shout out to Zach. But there, if you enter your email address there, we flip the book to those people, right? So if you want that free version of the book, now, if you love my stories and my little extra way of talking about stuff, that's in the Get Off and Cycle and Run, the main book. So these are like the bullets. Remember, I was like the 3 things. The Sprint book has those kind of like 3 things in it, like 1, 2, 3 kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. So, but it's shorter. It's a quick read. You can put it on your coffee table, look at it every day, that kind of thing.
Oh, that's amazing. Rodney, thank you so much for sharing, giving my guests something free. I always like to give away free stuff. And so I appreciate you having something for the audience so that they can walk away. And so you guys heard it. You can go to rodneycburris.com so that you can get your free copy of the book and learn those 3 points. Rodney, you are truly amazing. God has really blessed you with a gift. You are on the path to greatness. Don't stop. Keep going. You've seen the flaws and things that you had at that particular time. You have corrected them. And now the best is yet to come. So I encourage you to keep moving forward. And I am looking forward to seeing where you will be in the next year by the end of 2022, what stages you have had the opportunity to grace. So I'm looking forward to becoming a fan of yours as well.
Thank you, Erica.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And so I'm going to take you off the stage and say my closing. But again, I appreciate you and God bless you. And I'll see you soon.
See you guys.
Well, you guys, this has been an amazing podcast. I just love the guests that have been coming over here. I've like Rodney has a new friend now, and I am going to look into further opportunities to see what Rodney and I can do together, how we can put something together. Perhaps we can do a podcast, or just so that we could be a blessing to you. You see, the month of gratitude is all about being grateful. And so, because I have a gift and Rodney has a gift, being grateful on sharing my gift with others, because there's something that I might say or something that I might do that might be such a blessing to someone else. And so, I am here every Wednesday at 7 o'clock to be a blessing, to share, so January being gratitude month. Like, I think I probably might have gotten more out of gratitude month than you guys, because I am blessed to be alive. Like, God has opened up so many doors for me in these last 30 to 45 days. I'm just grateful. And the way that I share it is by being here on this podcast. Another thing that before we get out of the month of January, I have some things, just a couple of photos that I wanted to share of people that have been a blessing in my life. Now, y'all know I did the wonderful video of my mom, and I did reach out to my family to send pictures, but everybody didn't do what I asked. So don't be mad if your picture don't come up on the podcast, okay? But this young lady here, this is Nova Davis. She and I has been friends since 6th grade. Okay. When Erica Lynn Speaks was not Erica Lynn Speaks, when I was just a little hot little yellow girl with red hair and didn't know my rooter to my tutor. But she has been by my side for the entire time. I mean, never judging me. Even when I started my company and I was just like, had so many things wrong, or I was just all about self, she loved me through all of that. She advised me. She criticized me when I was wrong, not criticized, but she corrected me when I was wrong. She never said yes if the answer was no, but she loved me and stayed true to our friendship through the whole entire time. So that makes 30 plus years. I don't know the exact number, but I'm grateful for Nova Davis. Like, I still want to call her by her other last name, but I'm grateful, Nova Davis, for you loving me and being my friend through all of these years, because friends, good friends, great friends are hard to find. Friends that you can tell your deepest, darkest, dirtiest secret to are hard to find, and never anything that I have said to you or did, no one has ever found out, because you really put the F in friendship, right? And I love you. I'm thankful for you. And I just want to say, keep being you, keep doing what God has blessed you to do. Like, she creates the most amazing art. Like, she'll come in. She's one of the people who come in and redesign a whole room for you. Just create an experience. I mean, she's a event planner, wedding planner, like, she does it all. And just always been there for me. And Nova, I just want to say thank you. And I love you. So I have another picture. This is my nephew, Mars, and his baby. And so he is the oldest boy nephew in the family. And that is Isla, his only daughter. Well, he has a stepdaughter. So he has another daughter, but his only biological daughter. And the reason why I put my nephew up here is because, man, he fell off the bike so many times. I mean, bumped his head. And one day he just got around the family and was like, I'm a grown man. I got to do what grown men do. And he started stepping up and becoming a man and reaching out, helping the other young men, meaning my sons and my nephews that followed behind him. So he really took ownership into this leadership role. And I want to say to my nephew, I am grateful that you are the leader that God has placed you to be. I am grateful that you are walking into the path of greatness, of changing lives, of showing people how to get their credit together and how to make a difference. And you understood that the streets, they're not going to get you anywhere. But the path that you're on now, not only are you going to be able to help you, your family, and many others. So I just want to say, nephew, thank you. And I love you. And I have one last picture. This is my sister Dawn and her husband Bo. You guys know we lost Bo in August of last year. And Bo and Dawn together, they laughing, they're joking. They have made a difference in everybody's life. So I am so grateful that the time that they were able to be married and be together, that they have touched and made an impact on all lives, on everybody that came into their path. And so I know you can't see her face, but you guys, she was on the podcast at one point. And so I just want to say to you guys, I love you. Thank you. God bless you and continue to be great. So I am not going to hold you forever. Look, the comments are still coming in. And so this is what I'm going to leave you guys with. I remember listening to Les Brown when I first got started. Because how did I get started? I said I wanted to be a motivational speaker. So I began to do as Rodney did. I followed individuals that I wanted to be like, or I began to surround myself with individuals that are doing the things that I wanted to do. And Les Brown used to always say, the greatness is inside of you. But how do you discover what that greatness is, right? That means that you have to get out here in this world and you have to begin to experience things. You have to create the opportunities that may not come to you. You have to kick those doors open that are closed. You have to know who you are, love on you, so that when you're going through these things and challenges, that the one thing that you have to stand on, the one true thing that you have to stand on is your greatness is inside of you. I want you to unleash it and let the world see what you already knew was inside of you. God bless you guys. I'm so excited. This was a wonderful show. We'll be back here next week at 7 p.m. We're walking into February. And February, we're focusing on self-care. I'm going to give you guys all type of tools and tips that will help you self-care. Because now I'm telling you to bring out the greatness. Now I'm going to give you some great tools and show you how to bring the greatness out, because the greatness is inside of you. I love you guys. And always remember to take one step beyond you. God bless you. And I'll see you guys next Wednesday. This podcast was brought to you by EricaLynnSpeaks.com. Sign up for your free consultation today at EricaLynnSpeaks.com/work with me. And just remember, it only takes just one step beyond you.
Beyond you. I say Erica Lynn Speaks.